Okay, today's lesson is going to be the chemistry of hormones and how hormones work. Okay, a few things from yesterday. What makes up your endocrine system? Glands. And what do glands secrete? Hormones. Where do glands secrete the hormones? Into the bloodstream. And what is that other fluid in our system? Lymph, your lymphatic system. In the rank of, or a hierarchy system, which of your organ systems is in charge? Your nervous system. What is second in command? Your endocrine system. Do you recall what organ is the bridge between your nervous system and your endocrine system? Okay, so the bridge from the nervous system to the endocrine system is the hypothalamus. Now I'm going to scoot on over here, and I'm going to start right here. You guys tell me, which direction do I need to go to find the pituitary? Down? Okay, so here we go. You just tell me what to do. Going down, tell me when. Stop. Now where? That? Yes. That is the pituitary gland. What is the nickname of your pituitary? The master gland. Now it has two parts. It has the front half, which we call the anterior, and the back half, which is the posterior. You will learn that in a few days. Not yet, but I'm just throwing that out there now. But what controls your pituitary? The bridge between your nervous and your endocrine? Where's the hypothalamus on this brain? No idea. Your hypothalamus is right here. That yellow region I just highlighted is your hypothalamus. That is the controller of your entire I shouldn't say it is the controller of your pituitary. So I guess you could say by proxy, it is the control of your entire endocrine system. So this is your pituitary right there. And this is your hypothalamus right there. Because your hypothalamus is definitely part of your brain, it has nervous system function, and it is part of your endocrine system, it is called a neuroendocrine gland, or excuse me, organ. And it actually produces two hormones that you will eventually learn. I'm going to tell you what they are, but it produces its own hormones. I'm going to describe a hormone. I know I have not taught you any hormones yet. I've taught you maybe one or two, but you'll get the huge load of hormones later. What is the love hormone? Oxytocin. That is produced in your hypothalamus. Its levels are high during sex and during childbirth. And what is the hormone that can cause you to retain your electrolytes in your water? Its abbreviation is ADH. That's ACH. That's a neurotransmitter.
Something diuretic. Yeah, it's like anti-diuretic.
Anti. Nikita, if I was your doctor and I prescribed you medication, but I said, Nikita, this medication is a diuretic. Make sure you hang out by the bathroom. What does that mean? The medication is a diuretic. It makes you pee. So what does a hormone that's called an anti-diuretic do? It makes you not pee. If you're drinking a lot of alcohol, what does alcohol tend to make you do? So what is alcohol considered to be? It's a diuretic. It counteracts the effects of the ADH. And by the way, we talked about this yesterday. Eventually, you guys will get to the age where you can legally drink, and I imagine you might. If you drink too much alcohol, you get a hangover the next day and you feel like garbage. Well, the reason you feel that way is because you're dehydrated and you have very low electrolyte balance. When you are drinking a lot of alcohol, are you consuming electrolytes? No. You're just assuming ethanol and maybe some carbs, not electrolytes. What is happening to all the electrolytes that were in your system before you started drinking all that booze that one night? Where'd it go? In the toilet. You're peeing it out and you're not replenishing it. That's the issue. You get electrolytes in Gatorade. You also get electrolytes from food. But if you're just drinking booze, there's zip electrolytes. So you're peeing it all out and you're not replacing it. All right. Well, those are just two of the hormones that you'll need to know. Let's continue on. What exactly are hormones? Hormones are long distance chemical signals that travel throughout the body via blood and lymph. Remember, lymph is the fluids of your body. Your tissues naturally produce fluids, and your lymphatic system is supposed to drain those fluids from your tissues. I think I asked this yesterday, but I'm sure some of you have gotten a professional massage. One day you might need to get a lymphatic massage. You might have a lot of fluids build up in one spot, and then a masseuse who's trained with lymphatic massages can kind of get rid of it. Okay, well, there's two other types of signals I want to cover we did not discuss yesterday. The first is called autocrine. I'd like you to look at that prefix auto. Does anybody know what auto means? Self. Does anyone here drive a car where you have to change gears yourself manually? You have a stick shift, like first gear, second gear, third gear. That's manual. What do you call it where your car does it itself? Automatic. So auto means self. Your car does it itself. An autocrine is a short distance chemical messenger but here's the thing. Autocrines exert their effects on the same cells that release them. So if I were an autocrine, I would only affect the cells that I came from. It's like giving yourself a high five. Paracrine is the opposite. It's a short distance chemical messenger they exert their effects on any cells other than the ones they originate from. And so now I'd like us to take a break, and we're going to start doing something more often that we really didn't do in the first semester. You're going to actually use your textbook on your desk. If you're by yourself, Amara and Will, or Lance, you guys can team up if you want. But everybody else, you just need one book open per table. I want you to turn your books to page 603. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work on check your understanding. Numbers 1 through 4. If you're at home watching this video, I want you to pause this video for 5 minutes and complete, or at least until you finish problems 1 through 4. And then we're going to go over them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to let you guys work together for 5 minutes and answer questions 1 through 4. All right, Kate, hurt Emma, rapid. What would you say, nervous or endocrine? Nervous. That is good. Kylie and Anna Maria, Anna Sophia, sorry. Discrete responses. Correct. Amara and Lance, how about growth and development? Correct. Yellow Emma and Caitlin, long-lasting responses. Correct. Okay, good job, everyone. Number 2. Which 2 endocrine glands are found in the neck? Mackenzie and Nathaniel?
I said the thyroid and parathyroid.
That is correct. And for to further push this point across, can you all tell me what are the 2 glands found in your head? Don't look on page 602. You're cheating. What are 2 are found in your head? That's the nickname. Pituitary and pineal. What 2 glands are found in your trunk, and one of them is a pair? Adrenals and pancreas. And what are your gonads? What's the male gonads? How many? What are the female gonads? Ovaries. How many? Right. All right. Number 3. What is the difference between a hormone and a paracrine? Let's go to Brown, Emma, and Alex.
I said that hormones are long-lasting.
Not long lasting, long, your notes, long distance. Paracrine is short distance. So Nikita, you're kind of a tall guy. Do you think a signal going from your pituitary to your thighs to make your thighs longer and taller, do you think that's long distance or short distance? So would you say growth, the chemical that causes you to grow, would be a hormone or a paracrine? Correct. What if you have something from your pineal gland going to your hypothalamus? It's all in your brain. That would probably be more paracrine. Okay, number 4. You guys have a picture of a gland on A and a gland on B. You're asked to identify which one's endocrine, which one's exocrine, and how you got that. All right, Mia and Maddie, what is image A depicting, endo or exocrine? How do you know? Its secretions are going out. And here's another one. Do you see any blood flow going to it? No. Let's go to B. Andre and Morales, what is B indicating? Endo or exocrine? How do you know? That's what exo means. Exo means going out. Do you see any part of that gland secreting outside the body? Is it connected to any part of the outside of the body? Okay. And what is that? What is drawn transversing and going all throughout the gland? What's going in and out and all around it? Blood vessels. Blood vessels are traveling all throughout that gland. And that is where do endocrine secretions go to, Andre? Right there. Where do endocrine secretions go to? Andre, I can't make it any more clear. Into the bloodstream. Okay. Now, let's get into the actual chemistry, guys. When you hear chemistry, we tend to go, oh, no. This really won't be that much. There's really only one chemistry phenomenon that you need to be aware of. So here we go, hormone chemistry. We won't get too much into this today, and this will continue into the next lesson. I want to talk about polar versus nonpolar. That's the only thing when it comes to chemistry that you will really need to know for this class, or for this subject, I should say. Which one of these two loves water and can interact with water? Polar molecules or nonpolar molecules? Polar loves water. So how would you describe nonpolar's affinity with water? Does nonpolar like water, and does nonpolar hate water? Hates it. So what is that term for loving water?
Oh.
Hydrophilic. What is the term for hating water? Philia means to love. Phobia means to fear. There was a movie from 1990 called Arachnophobia. If you don't like spiders, don't watch that movie. Is anybody here arachnophilic? I actually had a girl last period. She said, I'm arachnophilic. I love them. Do you like spiders? Yeah. No. Anybody like spiders? So you're arachnophilic? Sure. Okay. Now, another term for being hydrophilic and liking water is water soluble. Water soluble simply means that its substance can mix and dissolve with water. What do you suppose the opposite of water solubility is? Water insolubility. Here's a hypothetical for you. I drive a convertible and I had a leak in my roof. Not good. So I found the hole. I found it was a slight little tear. Would I want to put a covering, like a chemical, to seal that hole? Would I want it to be hydrophobic or hydrophilic? Hydrophobic. So water would avoid it. And so silicone is hydrophobic. It's water insoluble. So whenever it rains, the water completely avoids that chemical. And so it's not going to, I don't have to worry about it leaking. Now, let's get back to this. Nearly all hormones are classified as being either, here's the two, amino acid based, or skip a few lines, steroid based. For those of you that have taken biology before, I hope that you can remember this. What do amino acids build when you link them together? Proteins. And and this might be a little harder for you to remember. Which macromolecule do steroids belong to? Not carbs, lipids. Okay. Now, here's the thing with these proteins, or these hormones. They have their pros and their cons. I want to go over the pros and cons with each of them. If you are an amino acid based hormone, you are polar. Does that mean they can or they cannot interact with water, everyone? They can. Okay, let's go over the pro about this. What is your blood mostly made out of? Water. So can polar hormones dissolve in your bloodstream? Yes. But the whole purpose of hormones is to get your cells to respond to a signal. Can a polar hormone pass through the plasma membrane of a cell? No, because what is the plasma membrane of a cell made of? It's a phospho what bilayer? Phospholipid bilayer. Are lipids polar or nonpolar? They're nonpolar. So polar hormones cannot pass through. I shouldn't say pass through, excuse me. I want to change that. They cannot diffuse through the plasma membrane of a cell. But I want to put something in parentheses. And this is really for those of you that remember this from bio, whether it's freshman bio or AP bio. If something is polar, it cannot just diffuse through the membrane. How would it have to get from one side of the membrane to the other? A what? Like a channel protein. It just can't diffuse through itself. It has to have a channel protein. Okay, now steroids. We hear about steroids a lot. Unfortunately, we're hearing about it less in this country because they test for it strictly. If Lance wanted to take steroids, great. That's fine for him. It's not illegal. I'm not saying it's, I should take that back. It's not good, but it's not illegal. You shouldn't take steroids when you're a teenager. You're not done growing. It can really screw up your age. But let's say 65-year-old Lance is needing a little boost of energy and testosterone. Steroids might be recommended. It's not illegal. If you're playing a professional sport, it's against the rules. And if you're going to play that sport, you have to play by the rules. Well, steroids are lipid-based hormones. One example of steroids is testosterone. Another one is estrogen. Another one is progesterone. These hormones are nonpolar. The con is that they cannot be soluble in blood. Because what is blood mostly made out of? Water. And can something that is nonpolar mix with water? No. Here's the pro. They can diffuse through the plasma membrane of a cell. Because what is the polarity of the plasma membrane of a cell? Nonpolar. Okay. We're gonna do we're gonna briefly describe amino acids and steroids, and we'll stop there. Okay, amino acid based hormones. These are most of the hormones of the body. Most of the hormones in the body are amino acid based. A couple examples of hormones that you'll be learning later in this unit are epinephrine. Anybody know what the common name of epinephrine is? Adrenaline. Another one is thyroxine. You don't need to be an endocrinologist to figure that one out. Where does thyroxine come from? Your thyroid. Your thyroid controls your metabolism, so thyroxine helps in breaking down food and getting energy from your food. It's a metabolic hormone. Okay. So guys, I want to ask you this one last time today. Can a hormone like thyroxine or a hormone like adrenaline or epinephrine, can they or can they not diffuse straight through your plasma membrane? Maddie, you're emphatically shaking your head. Why not? They're polar. What is the polarity of the membrane? Very good. The two don't mix. usually water soluble, and cannot cross the plasma membrane. Okay, and the last one we'll get to today, steroids. Steroids are synthesized from cholesterol. And cholesterol is a lipid. So these hormones are lipid based. They're only from your gonads and adrenal cortex. What hormones come from your gonads if you're a male? Testosterone. That's what athletes like in the 70s and 80s and 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s even are tested for to make sure they're not cheating. We obviously know that males have testosterone. Do females? I have a socio-political / bio question for you. This was about 10 years ago. True story. There's a female track athlete in India. Born female parts, all that stuff. She would always win. And they would drug test her. She's not cheating. What they found out is that she had naturally high testosterone levels. And testosterone typically causes your muscles to be bigger and stronger, and you have more energy. So she would beat all these women in races all the time. And so the officials over there in India said, that's it. We can't let you race against these girls. It's like, why? I'm a female. Why can't I race against girls? Because your testosterone levels are much higher than theirs, and it's not fair. So she's like, okay, can I race against the boys, the guys? No, you can't race against the guys. Well, why not? Because you're not a guy. So who can I race against? No one. What do you think? Should she race against the girls or should she be able to race against the boys? Huh? I would say race with the women too. She's a woman. I mean, we don't tell LeBron James to have a seat because he's too good at basketball. Tom Brady, you're way too good at quarterbacking. We need you to like not do that anymore because you're too good. That's not what. So I guess that's just a difference between one country versus another. But that was about 10 years ago. And the female gonads, what two hormones are made from your ovaries, ladies? Estrogen and progesterone. And from your adrenal cortex, you guys will learn this later. Adrenocorticoids. You'll learn those later. Okay, last question. We're done for today. Can these pass through your plasma membrane? Why? Because they're nonpolar. These are lipid soluble, and they can pass through the plasma membrane. Oops, hold on.